Namaste. Good evening, everyone, and good morning and good afternoon to our friends all over the globe. Thank you for joining us today. I am Joy Alampay, the Executive Director of Asia Society Philippines. Asia Society works together to strengthen relationships, deepen understanding, and bridge differences from across our islands, Asia, and the United States. Our projects and programs on education, leadership, policy, art and culture, sustainability, and technology are all intended to inspire cross country collaboration and understanding towards a better future for all of us. It is in the common spirit of a unifying and peaceful tomorrow that we are proud and excited to launch today our signature series, Eyes on Asia, which aims to highlight and promote understanding of an Asian country through its policy, culture, and arts, spanning discussions and activities to discover beyond the surface. Our first focus is through the lens of India. We are grateful to our partners, the CEO of our Asia Society India Center, Ms. Inakshi Sobti, the Indian Cultural Association Philippines, and the Indian Embassy in the Philippines, and of course, SPIDO. So, with that, opening our discussions today, I'd like to call on Ms. Aditi Ahuja, artist and philanthropist, and executive director and trustee of our Indian Cultural Association Philippines. And afterwards, Ms. Shalini Saha, our host and moderator, will be coming in. She is the business growth and marketing strategist, as well as fostering business across India, Philippines, and ASEAN, secretary and trustee, Indian Cultural Association Philippines. So now, Aditi, please.
Thank you, Ms. Joy. Good evening, everyone, and namaste. They say that the change begins from within. And today, when the world is suffering and is restricted to go out, it is important that we focus more on physical fitness and internal wellness. It's becoming a major concern. The rise of stresses due to work from home, lack of external activities, it's causing so many anxieties and emotional breakdowns. Unless we change and revive ourselves from within, we cannot expect anything to change without. It's always the internal determination that paves the way forward. So, yoga, which is the best form of exercise, not only makes us physically fit, but rather refreshes our mind and heart. On behalf of Indian Cultural Association of the Philippines, I would like, or ICAP as they say lovingly, I welcome you all today here for the virtual discussion. Yoga, which is integral to India, is related, its related essence and influences are there all across the country. It's a blessing that we have organizations like Asia Society of the Philippines who are taking this initiative to collaborate with the Embassy of India and ICAP to bring yoga to each one's house. Yoga is a very subtle and a peaceful way of re energizing your entire body, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And it has so many gestures and asanas which we can adapt for the sake of our wellness and overall well being. For example, just a small thing, breathing exercise, which is such a simple thing like pranayam. It is coronavirus, which is currently prevalent all across the globe, is attacking our respiratory systems. But if we practice pranayam every day, we will be able to strengthen our respiratory system and feel free from the fear and the apprehensions of stepping out of catching the infection. So, once again, I welcome you all. And personally, as an advocate of the fact that happiness lies within, I encourage all of you to please try out yoga. It's the answer to our quest of making this planet a happier and healthier place. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste. Hi. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Aditi, my fellow trustee of the Indian Cultural Association of the Philippines. Hi, everyone. My name is Shalini. I am representing ICAP today, and I will be your host and moderator for today evening. First off, to all our viewers, welcome to Eyes on Asia, India's special. We're actually very excited to bring to you programs like this, and we're very thankful to Asia Society for putting together a program that really gives you an opportunity to highlight and celebrate each culture, tradition, and get to know more about everything around us. So, of course, today we're doing a special on yoga. And as we all know, yoga is known to be India's gift to the world. Today, we have so many different types of yoga. We have Kundalini, Hatha, Ashtanga, Bikram, and honestly, the list keeps going on, and each one has an amazing practice and belief of their own. But today, we'd like to go a little bit more down to the roots, and we're very excited to have with us today a speaker all the way from India, who is the current director of the Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, and is also the president of the National Yogasana Sports Federation. Please help me welcome none other than Dr. Ishwar Basavaraddi to come join us today and give us a little bit background on yoga. Namaste, Dr. Ishwar. Welcome to Yoga Today by...
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Of course, please. We'd like to invite you to give us a little bit of a brief discussion. To all our viewers as well, feel free to send in any questions, type in on the chat, on the comments. We'd be happy to bring them up with Dr. Ishwar today, followed by another speaker who's also an avid practitioner for almost 3 decades. So Dr. Ishwar, the floor is yours.
Yes. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Respected yoga professionals and Mrs. Ishwar Janani Gaikwad, Miss Joy, Mr. Ram, Miss Shalini for your nice introduction, Aditi and Mrs. Inakshi Shokti, and all other viewers viewing this webinar through various social media platforms. Namaskar, my pranams to you all. At the outset, I thank the organizers for inviting me to share some of my views on yoga today, especially under this pandemic conditions. Aditi has given a nice introduction and made my job very comfortable. So I would like to point and 10 points here, then we can discuss. The outset, I don't go into what is yoga, everybody knows it. But what are the silent features of yoga? So I have three important silent features. There are many, but here in this context, I use only three. One, yoga is essentially spiritual. So many people attach spirituality with religion, philosophy, etc. But spirituality in a simple term, we think, we speak, we act. If a person has to have a right thinking, whatever he thinks, he speaks and he acts accordingly. It needs a lot of skill, and that skill is yoga. That skill is a spiritual living. Therefore, the essence of man is spirit. Spirituality is the core of yoga, or spirituality is the essence of yoga. I had given the very simple meaning of spiritual living: thinking, speaking, and acting. It's called in yogic terminology Trikarna Shuddhi, the T type of purification, which needs to bring a clarity about myself and the universe. This is the first. The second one is yoga is harmony. I am not this simple body. I had a mind, I have energy, I have a decision making compartment, and I had a spirit. So if there is a harmony, harmony starts from the cell, the microcosm, and it goes to the infinite, Ananta, the macrocosm. Therefore, the bringing harmony in different aspects of work. That's why in Gita it said, Samatvam Yoga Uchate. So therefore, bringing harmony, yoga brings harmony. Then third important thing, yoga is an art of healthy living. It's an art. So what to eat, what not to eat. How to sleep, how best we can get a good sleep. How to enjoy the worldly life. And how to get the blissful experience which is within what Aditi was mentioning. So we are what we think. Therefore, it regulates with our psychological well-being. Therefore, all the yoga practices are oriented to mind-centric. They are oriented to channelize your thoughts and emotions so that I can live very healthy. That's why it's an art of healthy living. In the art of healthy living, mind plays an important role. So many times, so I have to change the mindset. The stress is there, we cannot avoid the stress. Pollutions are there, problems are there, we cannot avoid the problems. But I can change my mindset, adopt with the changing circumstances, changing environment, changing in the workplaces, changing in now the COVID-19 situations. Lockdowns are there, many other lot of problems are there. Switchly changing my lifestyle into that will help us to overcome. Therefore, I mentioned yoga is essentially spiritual. Yoga brings harmony in all walks of life. Third one is yoga is an art of healthy living where mind plays an important role. The second, what the yoga ancestor says. What is its history? Yoga has the history of more than 4,700 years written history. It's called in the Indus Valley civilization. There were yogis are living and the entire city we found the samples of yoga practicing. So therefore, then it is called ancient scriptures like Veda, Upanishads, Darshana, Agama, Purana, like this it goes on from the ancient time till the modern days. Yoga is evolving. Earlier it is more on spiritual basis. Then it is emphasizing on mind. In the 4th century and 6th century, they start emphasizing on our body. That's why the Tantra Yoga, the Hatha Yoga comes in dominance in the 8th and 9th century AD. Then the slowly we are emphasizing more on mind body. Hatha Yoga relates to the energy, then mind. Nowadays, yoga has been popular for three reasons. One is for fitness. Whoever comes to want to do fit, then yoga is one of the major important component of fitness programs in across the globe. In India, we have a Fit India movement. Yoga is a major partner of the Fit India movement. If you do yoga for half an hour or 45 minutes, so you can keep yourself fit, not only physically, but mentally also. What is the second important aspect? The second important aspect, as per the scriptures also, yoga is a preventive medicine. If you are regularly practicing yoga for 45 minutes or so, we can prevent many of the lifestyle disorders because yoga is a way of healthy living, as I said. This is the second. This is the. Then third one is nowadays we are facing lot many non-communicable diseases. Now also in the last more than 1 year, we are suffering because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Not only the sufferers from the infectious COVID-19, but also the circumstances. Many people are isolated, quarantined, and many other changes has come in the workplace. Lot of stress, anxiety are there because of isolation and because of the financial status. Many things are there. Therefore, yoga is very important in the management of non-communicable diseases, especially the stress and anxiety are better managed by the practice of yoga. Therefore, the first one is fitness, widely used. The second one is for the preventive medicine. Yoga is a preventive medicine. Some people take it as a mind-body medicine. Third one is it is the best tool, non-pharmacological tool. No, very limited expenditure. You have to spend only for the carpets we use. That is, we use one teacher for few weeks or few months to learn. Then we don't to spend any money to learn yoga and practice yoga. Therefore, these are the three important benefits. So then third important point I would like to say. So what are the basic instinct? The basic instinct are four. One is the food. The second one is the sleep. Third one is the sexual activities once we become adolescents. And fourth one is the fear factor. So every animal has these four basic instincts in life. If anyone could manage, streamline, regulate these four basic instincts of animal instincts, then he can live better. He can avoid many of the disorders. Therefore, in our ancient Indian medicine Ayurveda, Ahara, Nidra, Brahmacharya are the three pillars of Swasthya or the health. So, but we have added one more, that is the fear, which is because we are more related to the mind. So, yoga help us to how to eat, how to sleep better, then how to streamline our sexual activities, or to convert them sexual activity into the spiritual well-being, and most importantly, so how to overcome the fear of death, fear of losing somebody, fear of losing some position what we acquire. So there are well-versed techniques in yoga to address these issues. This is the third aspect. The fourth one, what are the practices? I have only three practices majorly: asana, pranayama, and dhyana. The combination of asana, pranayama, and dhyana help. What asana brings? Asana brings the flexibility. Asana brings the lightness. Asana brings the energy. Especially the spinal cord and the brain, the central nervous system works properly. All the major five organs, the brain, the heart, the lungs, the liver, then kidneys. These are all the five vital organs. So any one organ doesn't work, then that leads to the death. Everybody knows this. Most importantly, after spine and brain, yoga asanas are emphasizing on the healthy functioning of these five vital organs. The third one in here, the endocrinal system, the pituitary, the thyroid, so the adrenal glands, gonads, all these are playing vital role in our healthy living. No other system has developed techniques have a proper hormonal secretions. But asanas, the halasana, ustrasana, chakrasana, ardhamatsyendrasana, like various asanas are helping us to regulate our hormonal endocrinal hormonal system secretions, which is very vital in the management of many of the stress related disorders. Therefore, this is the basic. Then pranayama, always it brings the sympathetic parasympathetic balance. So if you regulate the left and right nostril, it brings a sympathetic parasympathetic balance. The medical people knows. If it is not so, either the person will be hyperactive or is dull. He always gets sleepy. He don't work properly. Like this, many things happen. Therefore, Anulom Vilom Pranayam is bringing lot of balance or lot of relaxation and balance, and it vitalizes. It removes lot of cardio. It brings cardiorespiratory efficiency. Dhyana is the tranquilizer. I am mentioning about only Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. There are several pranayamas like Ujjayi, Bhamari, Vastrika. Then there is a Kriya called Kapalbhati. All these things are there. But now comes to the Dhyana. Dhyana is yoga. In the West, nowadays it has become yoga and meditation. But meditation or Dhyana is the core of yoga. But in right terminology, Dhyana or meditation is yoga. All practices, asana, pranayama, etc., all leading to meditation only. Once you start meditating, I start my journey inward. So I start doing what I am thinking, whether I am saying the same thing, whether I am acting the same thing. Dhyana brings the harmony, internal harmony, energy balance, calm and quietness. Then a person start modifying his behaviors. Therefore, in the next step, sixth one, I am mentioning about the chart how to 8 steps. The first one is detoxification, or there are some toxins accumulated. Suppose my nasal passage is not clear. I frequently got the cough. I frequently got the hyperacidity. I am having a constipation. Yoga has some cleansing practices. If they do it regularly, alternative day, or weekly once, or monthly once, or 3 months, once in 3 months, according to the advocacy and the problem, one can remove the toxins or accumulated in the body. The urea, uric acid, steel, stool, and all these things can be removed accordingly, periodically flowing out from our body. The next one is diet plays an important role. So many people worried about, is a yoga practitioner can eat non-vegetarian or any fish or egg. In the Shastra, it is mentioned the local food, the fresh food available is very, very important. But we are making it spicy, whether it is non-vegetarian or vegetarian. We make it so much of tasty, adding so much of edible oil, that this, etc., frying. That's good, not good for health. But yoga says, eat well the local food in a calm and quiet manner. So we recommend diet according to my work culture, according to my nature of psychophysiological nature of my body and mind, and according to the customs and the methods or the rules followed in the region. In India, it's a big country. The southern part eats different thing, in northern part different thing, and in west different, in the Himalayan areas, Arunachal Pradesh, etc. Their foods, customs and food habits are different. Diet modification, this is the second. Then asana, it brings the postural modification. Now I am sitting for 12 hours continuously in my office. That's good for health. But in between, I am stretching, I am breathing, I am moving my body. So I am making it active, bringing the marma points, subtle points, channelization of energy. 20 minutes of yogasana keeps my body fit. Then comes the breathe modification, pranayama. Take from left, right, right, left. So this type of alternative breathing, it stimulates the various nerves, cleans the frontal sinus, and also improve my concentration. Then comes relaxation. Once you have a detoxified body and mind, proper diet, light diet, good asanas relevant to your body and mind, pranayama practice helps you to relax well. If you are relaxed, you can concentrate. If you prolong concentration lead to meditation, meditation leads to behavioral modification. Therefore, this is the sixth one. Now the seventh one. What is the present prospectus? After 2014, our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, on 27th of September 2014, appealed to the United Nations General Assembly to adopt International Day of Yoga. Out of 193 countries, 177 countries have endorsed this resolution. That means yoga is the essence and need of the hour. It is the holistic approach which is the essence for the entire world. That's why in our logo we mention harmony and peace are the basic essence of our world day. Then, after that, the growth of yoga is worldwide. It is in the exponential growth. In the 8th stage, to celebrate it, Government of India has brought in a 45 minutes common yoga protocol, where it includes various practices of yoga, very beautifully technically clubbed in a rhythm. Therefore, the practitioner could then get the benefit, and also it helps for. Now, yoga has become the billion dollars or billion rupees wellness industry. The common yoga protocol is one of the major public health initiative by any government in the world. Till now, as per the unofficial record, more than 26 or 27 or 260 to 270 million people practice this in one or the other form during the last 5 6 years. And last year in the yoga day, 13 crore people, even they at yoga at home, yoga at family, with family. So more than 13 crore people have practiced this. That means the introduction of common yoga protocol and the principles of yoga, the food modification, etc., are bringing the change. The ninth one, in the pandemic condition, there also we advocate a yoga protocol. Especially, I have developed in my institute, we have developed a half an hour pranayama practice, which is having the Neti practice, then Kapalbhati practice, then Anulom Vilom, then Ujjayi, then Brahmari, then meditation. Like this, a very well versed protocol we developed. Then in the evening, we have breathing and relaxation, which reduce the accumulation of carbon dioxide percentage in the body. They get the better sleep. So I advised 14 days we need to teach, and 8 days that has act as a vaccine. And none of the yoga healthcare professionals got COVID who are practicing this half an hour, morning 15 minutes, evening, pranayama and breathing practices. That means under the pandemic condition also, yoga helps for the healthcare professionals, yoga helps for the COVID patients, yoga helps for the persons who are in the isolation. Therefore, yoga has the multiple role. The ninth one, now we have come up with a yoga as workplace, a small module of 5-6 minutes. In India, we introduced yoga in schools. Now, Yogasana has been declared as a competitive sport. Yoga has been introduced in the wellness centers. Yoga has been introduced in the hospitals. All the uniformed personnel, the army, navy, air force, police personnel, paramilitary staff, everybody is now practicing yoga. And there are several fitness clubs and etc. Therefore, yoga is entering in all walks of our life. Now, the last but not the least, what is our goal? Our goal is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire world is one. Yoga is uniting us. Yoga is bringing us together. Even at the Corona, Government of India and all the world leaders are helping each other, coming to the rescue of the people who are suffering. And our Honorable, I am very proud, our Honorable Prime Minister extended a help to all the needy countries, the vaccine or anything, though we are having a lot of problems. This is a way how we share the happiness and also the sorrow. That makes a family, which is need of the hour. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole universe or the whole world is one family. So we have different culture, we have different languages, we have different religions. So we have different habits and customs. But we are all basically human beings. Yoga makes us a better human being by 45 minutes of regular practice and by adopting the principles of yoga in all walks of our life. Better human being is the indication of a peace and healthy body. Thank you very much for your attention. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ishwar. I honestly enjoyed hearing about the history of yoga. I was actually taking down so much notes, and I think one of the things that really struck out to me the most was how yoga is really a universal thing. And just practicing yoga every day, I think it would be great that we would help us become better human beings, and how being something that's universal brings people together. And I think one of the best people to have speak with us next to talk about how yoga is the art of healthy living, which impacts how we think, how we act, and someone who has practiced yoga for almost 3 decades, actually maybe 4 decades actually, of his life, is none other than Mr. Chandru Matani, joining us as well. He's the president of Speedo Philippines and also a co-founder and trustee of the Indian Cultural Association of the Philippines. Welcome, Mr. Chandru. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So,
It's
Mr.
a
Chandru,
pleasure. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
namaste and welcome. So, Mr. Chandru is someone who's an avid yoga practitioner, and we just heard about the history of yoga, a lot about what yoga is, what it can do. But we'd like to hear from someone who's practiced it almost every day. You've made yoga a part of your living. Actually, it's whenever I see you, you always tell me that we can put yoga into some or different activity or the other. So we'd love to know or hear more about your experience and how it's been for you on practicing yoga on a daily basis. So we'll hear a bit from you, and then we'll welcome more questions from our audience, and we'd throw questions back and forth to you and Dr. Ishwar. So please, Mr. Chandru, go ahead. Mr. Chandru? Okay, I think he may have a technical difficulty. So while we're waiting for him, Dr. Ishwar, I'd love to hear more about, you mentioned yoga was a very big factor of the Fit India movement earlier. Can you tell us a little bit more about this movement, actually?
Right.
Yes.
Can you, yeah. Sorry, can you hear me? Because
Yes, I can.
Okay, but earlier I lost the signal for a while. Yeah.
Yes, no
But
worries, no worries.
it does go off and on a bit. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Doctor.
Yeah, so Dr. Ishwar, just give us a little bit idea about the Fit India movement, and we'll start with Mr. Chandru then and hear about his experience as a yoga practitioner. Dr. Ishwar?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Sorry.
So Fit India movement, what is it about?
Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. Yes. Now, last 1.5 years, it was in 2019 in the August. Our Honorable Prime Minister, he has started a Fit India movement. So there, we want to enter the first schools. So we have a protocol, 3 protocols, broad protocols for the children from 6 years to 18 years, then the youth period up to 18 to 35 years, and 35 years to 18 to 55 years, 65 years and 65 and above. So we have made the 3 categories, and we bring the parameters of what are the, suppose a person prefers the walking, he is doing cycling, he is doing some the sport, he is doing yoga. So what exactly in a week time, how much activity of each choice, we are not confining only to yoga or cycling or swimming or something. So whatever the physical activity is does, so we have consulted many people and we brought in. These booklets are in public domain. Where in yoga, we made 6 categories. 6 categories, we recommended each category half an hour yoga practice. That is more than enough to bring the mind-body coordination and make him fit. So therefore, the schools, colleges, hospitals, the villages, everywhere we are spreading Fit India movement, where yoga is playing a major or important role in the Fit India movement.
Well, that's fantastic. I particularly love the idea of how we were able to fit and yoga and different physical activities into your daily lives. So it's not necessarily just yoga or whatever sport, but good to sort of have some sort of movement to keep us fit and active. So that's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah,
Now let's call Mr.
that's in that
Go
one.
ahead.
The food is also very very important.
Yes, of course, definitely.
We are educating all the people what to eat, what not to eat. Especially the junk food has become the part and parcel of our life, and soft drinks and etc. We are bringing awareness through this. Not only the good practices, we have a very standard measurements and we have published the booklets, but we are cautioning about the bad habits, bad customs which are affecting our health and fitness.
Oh, that's great. You mentioned that this has been published already. For our viewers, if ever they want to
Yeah,
search more on this
if
or get
they
to know, yeah, where can they
yeah
find this?
if they visit the Fit India website, Ministry of Sports,
Okay.
Ministry of Sports, Government of India. There's a Fit India website. You can find these booklets. 3 booklets are there. They were released by our Honorable Prime Minister in last August. 3 booklets are there. If you, I will WhatsApp to you and you can circulate to them.
Awesome. That would be great. So everyone, as Mr. Ishwar just mentioned, for you to get to know more about the Fit India movement of India and also to hear more about nutrition and things that you can practice on your daily life, feel free to check out the website, fitindia.gov.in. It has a lot of resources for you and everyone to check out as well. So thank you, Dr. Ishwar, for sharing that with us today. I'd like to call back Mr. Chandru to the stage. Okay, I think Mr. Chandru really is having a little bit of a technical difficulty here with us. So, Dr. Ishwar, I'd like to take this opportunity to actually bring in a lot of our comments that are coming in from Facebook and social media. And they have a few questions on a little bit more about yoga and everything. So, I think one of the questions that everybody really wants to know is, you mentioned that yoga can contribute to helping you get a better sleep, having better nutrition, things like that. How would you say, if you had to summarize in the quickest possible way,
Yeah.
how would you say that yoga could impact a person's life in that many ways?
Yes, there are 3 things. When you do yoga for better sleep, when you do half an hour yoga, so your spinal cord becomes flexible. Your vagus nerve, which connects with many of the vital organs, it functions better. So that means the metabolic system is sound. That is very very important for a good sleep. The metabolism, the digestion, absorption, elimination. So all these things are in a better coordination. One. The second one is, so when we do breathing active pranayama, so that brings the harmony between the sympathetic and parasympathetic stimulations. That's a vagal coordination. The next, we always prefer the humming. We chant Om. Om. Om is not a symbol of any religion. It's a symbol of yoga. It's a symbol of universe. When you chant properly Om, so the entire brain functions improves. Research shows. So such type of practices that helps to regulate our thoughts. One is the body, the second one is the breathe, and the orientation of the thought process will gradually brings the sound sleep. How much sleep need? We required 8 or 7 hours of lying down, but how much our brain needs rest, proper rest? It is at least 3.5 hours sound sleep. We don't need much. Still we have a dreams. If you don't have a dreams, you are not human being. You are supreme being. So, but if you have a dreams, but they are all regulated dreams. So very less dreams. The brain, if you don't get 3.5 hours, very sound rest, and he is going to have a many psychiatric problems. Therefore, yoga prefers 1.5 hour going to the deep sleep and 3.5 hours or 4 hours of sound sleep, then coming out 1.5 hour. Total, we prefer 6.5 hours or 7 hours of sound sleep in appropriate place will helps to live better. What is the enjoyment in life? One is the food is one enjoyment, and then is the sensual enjoyment, seeing, listening, all these things, and the sexual activity. All these things bring the pleasure. But most important pleasure in life is the sleep, good sleep, and it is an asset, and you need not to spend any money for that. Yoga brings, regular practice of yoga brings. I had given you the technology. For the persons who is having insomnia, wash your hand, feet, wear the cotton clothes, have a comfortable these things. Practice 10 rounds of Anulom Vilom or Nadi Shuddhi Pranayam, alternative nostril breathing, and have some 27 times humming. So you do it 27 times. Within 3-4 days, I will guarantee you some 3 to 4 hours minimum sound sleep. You may sleep much better, but sound sleep is guaranteed with just 10 rounds of Anulom Vilom, then either Omkar, because I am not mentioning many people. So link it with some religion. That's why I'm telling. Lot of relaxation in place.
Well, that was amazing, Dr. Ishwar. I think the room just got a bit more peaceful and a bit more calm just hearing you start your meditation just there. But that's actually very interesting. I think I would practice that myself just to get at least 3 to 4 hours of good comfort sleep. Definitely. Another thing I'd like to touch on actually is with the pandemic around us, a lot of us have actually moved towards working from home. So these are environments where we weren't always. For some, it's very comfortable. For some, it's the constant chaos and everything, and family and everyone around you suddenly. So a lot of mental health questions have popped up as well. So, in your perspective, as someone who really advocates for yoga, especially for the Fit India movement and everything that yoga brings to a person's life, how would you think yoga and mental health have a link together? Like, what would you say about that?
The first of all, it is detoxification. So we give on the hygienic principles. Morning, whenever we wake up, many people don't consider how it helps for the psychological well-being. But morning wake up, washing the nasal passages, washing the mouth, eyes, taking a good bath, and keeping our hands, everything washed every day. Just wake up and have a, without having tea, coffee, have a lukewarm water. Don't add lemon or honey or something. Just a pure 1 or 2 glasses of lukewarm water. Detoxify. That's wonderful. That prepares your mind. Then every 1.5 hour or 2 hours, just relax for 2-3 minutes. Do some, we have developed, you can see our website, yoga break. We have given a 5 minutes yoga break. Do it 2 times or 3 times, 5 minutes. It's a wonderful practice. The video is there in our website, in our Facebook also. You can watch many videos and Facebook pages in our institute. This is a 5 minutes wonderful break which relaxes your body. Third one is, so one it is principles. When you are meditating, you don't feel alone. I am happy, but I am eager to transfer my happiness to others. Many people transfer their anger. Many people transfer their grief. Many people transfer their problems. But yoga person transfer the happiness because he is the source of happiness. So if you are practicing yoga, ultimately you are calm and quiet. You have a compassion. You have a kindness. That kindness transfer. We share the happiness and grief. In this pandemic condition, living in the family, understanding each other, working in isolation places, where our meditation pranayama help us to, not to feel alone, because I am always the internal well-being is more important. That is the secret of how Indian people is so much a population. Still, we are not much affected by the pandemic because yoga is our culture. I am very proud of it.
Well, that was very beautifully said. I love the idea of really sharing joy and sharing sadness or grief too, because I think in times like this, everyone around us just really wants to feel connected and feel included. And through the distance, through our screens, I really feel the room right now is very at calm and very peace, even though we're a few thousand miles away. So thank you so much for sharing those tips with us. One thing I did want to touch on as well. Earlier, you mentioned that 13 crore people were practicing yoga. Was this for the International Day of Yoga?
Last year, International Day of Yoga, 13 crore people practiced Common Yoga Protocol of 45 minutes developed by Ministry of AYUSH. 13 crores. And total
That's
it is
amazing.
27 crores in last 5-6 years.
Yes, that's been very interesting. So just to give a little bit of equivalent to our viewers in the Philippines, so 13 crores is equivalent to 130 million. So that's 130 million people who have practiced yoga in the last year's International Day of Yoga. Actually, we were very lucky to also do a virtual celebration of the International Day of Yoga, where we also did start off with the Common Yoga Protocol as well. So that's something our viewers can touch on. They can check on the website of the Ministry of AYUSH and also as well of the Fit India website as well. So, Mr. Ishwar, would you also be able to share with us? Earlier, you were saying that the Fit India movement has really been started into putting it into the curriculums of schools, starting from children to adults. Can you tell us a little bit more about why yoga is being adopted in school curriculums? Like, why is it that children are being taught yoga, and what was the difference, or what's the significance that we're trying to bring by adopting yoga into curriculums? Sorry, I think you're on mute, Dr. Ishwar.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Nowadays, in the metros and in the cities, child doesn't have a much physical activity. We have very less playgrounds. The child wake up early, catch up the train, bus, reaches his school, coming back. There is no physical activity, and because of competition, many of them are not participating in the sport, games, not playing games. So all these things are happening. So in the young age itself, people are getting obesity, diabetic in the young age, and at 35 some people start getting cardiac problems, heart attacks, hypertension have become the common. Therefore, if you teach yoga at the pre-adolescent age, at around 11 to 12 years, 13 years before, then adolescent, present and adolescent past, the 6 to 8 years of period. So the child learn yoga, he will prevent many of the diseases, lifestyle diseases. It is evidence, it is a fact. Therefore, earlier it was there, now in India, in every teacher's training program, we made yoga compulsion. And almost every schools, in one or the other form, they practice yoga. Therefore, the child can live healthy and have a, most importantly, it is not healthy living. It enhances my willpower, my concentration power, my physical energy. It is called a personality development. A calm and composed personality is the asset of the nation. Yoga is providing that to the child. Without spending any money, I am making the people, the healthy people, the energetic people, productive people, the future generation by introducing yoga in our schools.
Oh, that was wonderful. I think it's very interesting to know, especially that children should really start at a young age. That way, it's something that they really grew up with. It becomes a habit. It becomes a lifestyle for them as well. So, Dr. Ishwar, I know we're very much at a cut for time, and I've just been told that you just have to be going for your next meet. But I'd like to invite you to say a few parting words to our viewers today. Is what would you tell someone who wants to look at yoga to start their lifestyle with? How would you best encourage them to start the yoga lifestyle of becoming more harmonious? And as you mentioned, yoga is the art of a healthy living. So how would you more expound on this?
Simple. I am making only 3 to 6 steps. You can 3 or you can 6. First one is regulate your sleeping and waking up time period. Always try to wake up before sunrise, then sleep within 3 to 4 hours of sunset. It depends upon different countries. But I am waking up in India. The day and nights are almost similar. Either it is only 1 or 2 hours of difference. That's why I said. Namaskar, sir. This is Vikram Singh. Then next, just set your sleeping time and waking up time. This is first. The second one is regulate your food habits. Whatever you eat continuously, your body will adjust with that. But sometimes we eat less, sometimes we eat more, sometimes we eat in the 12 o'clock, sometimes we eat 1 or 3 o'clock. No. So give food at appropriate time, but eat less than you are hungry. Eat comfortably with satisfaction with friends and family. That gives a lot of happiness. This is the second. Third one is morning 45 minutes, evening 15 minutes. Regular yoga or meditation. If you do, so that is the lifestyle, that's all. The one is I am telling about the food. The second one is I am telling about the sleep and waking time. That will help you with the proper sleep. Third one is the yoga practice. These are the only 3 things I emphasize. This will make our better lifestyle. I taught to yoga many thousand people, not 1 or 2. More than 1 lakh. That means 0.1 million people. Teachers, not only practitioners. In one session, I teach 40-50,000 people on the yoga day. That's not the issue. But with my experience of telling, once you regularize this, maintain the calm and quiet mind, you are the winner. You are the achiever in your life. That's the unique lifestyle.
That was fantastic, Dr. Ishwar. Thank you for ending that on a very nice note.
I had
but
one
you know,
more
we
meeting
had
at 3:30.
I know. But we just got a very interesting question, and please consider this the last question for you while we end your session with us. But this was very interesting, actually, because this came in from Clarence from Facebook, and he is asking, is yoga a religion?
Not at
You
all.
mentioned earlier that yoga is universal, but how would you more expound on this?
Yeah, but unfortunately it is related with Hindu religion. But because Hindu is our culture, so Hindu, and in Buddhism, yoga is there. In Jainism, yoga is there. Sufism, yoga is there. Why? In every religion, we need to concentrate on the God or God principles or meditation. For that, people are using yoga. So that's why yoga is an integral. But yoga, if you go to the yoga, they are not mentioned any God name. And no God is there. If you are believe in God, then also you can practice yoga. If you are not believe in God, then also you can practice yoga. Christians can practice yoga, Muslims can practice yoga, Jain, Parsis, Hindus, everybody can practice yoga. Suppose, for example, I will give you an example. So who has invented this theory of relativity? He's a Christian, Einstein. Then can you belong to that theory of relativity only to the one country and one religion because it is
That's true.
invented by a
No.
Christian? Not at all.
Yeah.
Yoga is like that. You take yoga as a health aspect or spiritual aspect for the personality development. Not at all a religion, in my opinion. As per the scriptures, I am telling you. But it has been brought and brought up in India. India is dominated by the Hindu culture. I am using not religion. And that's why yoga is our culture. Yoga is our living, healthy living habit.
All right. So that's a beautiful way to say it. So definitely yoga is India's gift to the
So
world,
I'm had
but
a
it
very, very
is.
important meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ishwar. That was actually a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing all these
Thank
nuggets of
you.
wisdom. We'll definitely have our viewers check out the website, and we'll be happy to share more resources from Fit India and the Ministry of Ayush as well. On behalf of
Yeah.
Asia Society, the Embassy of India, and ICAP, thank you very much for joining us for Yoga Today on the Eyes on Asia program.
Thank you, Shalini. And
You're welcome.
yeah, I remember you are all smiling. Aditi, you and our honorable guest. You're all wonderful people. And it's the first meeting. I hope so. We continue this association for the welfare of the humanity. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. Ishwar. All right, everyone. So that was a beautiful look back into the history of yoga. And it's very important that we touch on one thing that Dr. Ishwar mentioned. Yoga is India's gift to the world, but yoga is universal. It is for you and me and for everyone around us. You can be practicing it at whatever age. And I guess the best way to put it is yoga is your lifestyle. And the best person to talk to us more about this is none other than our much in demand Mr. Chandru Matani, president of Speedo Philippines and also a fellow trustee of the Indian Cultural Association of the Philippines. So, Mr. Chandru, thank you again and welcome back to the floor. Hi, Mr. Chandru. Can you hear me? Mr. Chandru, hi. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we're having a little bit of some technical difficulties here at the moment. In the meantime, while we're waiting for Mr. Chandru, maybe perhaps invite our viewers if you have more questions about yoga as a lifestyle, and maybe even how you can start your yoga journey. Please do share in your comments on our Facebook and our YouTube live sessions. We're live on the Facebook page of Asian Society Philippines, as well as the Indian Cultural Association of the Philippines. So again, we are open to comments and we're welcoming everybody to join us to make this a much more interactive conversation about yoga. While we're waiting for Mr. Chandru, really, I think we just really want to hear from Mr. Chandru already, but I think the technical difficulties are really holding us back today. But in the meantime, can I please invite on the stage Ms. Joy, Executive Director of Asia Society, to come say a few words as well and let us know about how today has been impactful for you, especially about the history of yoga and also as yoga as a lifestyle.
Yes, it was very interesting. I mean, I have been trying to practice yoga the past few months, but it's very different if you learn more about it. There's a deeper appreciation to what you're doing because for me it was just for more for wellness, but then it provides us with depth when we learn more about even why we're breathing this way, why the poses are in a certain way. So perhaps it's also a good time, Shalini, to invite all the viewers to join us tomorrow at 8 a.m. to put into practice what we've heard tonight. And led by the Indian Embassy in the Philippines. We'll have an 8 a.m. session. The links are also in our Facebook page. So yeah, we'd like to invite everyone. And so I think Mr. Chandru is back.
Okay, this is it. We are back with Mr. Chandru.
Okay, fortunately, because
Yes, of course.
I missed a bit of it, but I think I'm back. And before I disappear, what I want to share with you is something very, very important for these times. You know, there's nitric oxide that exists in the human breath. You can hear me, Charles? You can
Yes,
hear
loud
me?
and clear, loud and clear.
Okay, lovely. So this nitric oxide exists in our breath. Now, how do we increase it? By simple manipulation, it increases 10 times, right? So what is the manipulation? Holding your breath. So if you can hold your breath 30 seconds, that's an indication you have healthy lungs. So please do that every day, 2, 3 times a day. And after that, you increase from 30 seconds, go up 40 seconds, 50 seconds, you hold your breath and time yourself. You know, your mobile has a nice timer, a stopwatch. You must, first of all, aim for 30 seconds. And if you can do more, 40, 50. I've held my breath for more than a minute. I used to hold it for 2 minutes, but now I'm happy if I can hold it a little more than a minute, like a minute, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. It's okay. But the basic requirement is 30 seconds, and you work up your way. And this is vital. Believe me, in the next few years, you'll be hearing of nitric oxide in a big way. So, what happens? What's the advantage? It works as a bronchodilator, right? It strengthens your lungs, and automatically then it increases your immunity. So if you can hold your breath 30 seconds at least, then you are fit. And if you want to be fitter, then work up to a minute. Please try this 2, 3 times. You know, just basically, you need to sit up straight. That's the only requirement. You could be waiting somewhere at your doctor's clinic. Go ahead, hold your breath. Just imagine. That's how easy it is. And it'll go up 10 times. Your immunity will go up 10 times or for that period. So give it a shot. And my other thing, which I want to share with everyone, is why yoga? Because yoga gives you what we are all looking for. All of us are looking for happiness. So yoga makes you happy. And how does it do it? It releases dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. All the four chemicals of happiness are released depending on your posture. For instance, laughter yoga, just laughing, right? It releases endorphins. And there you go. You can experience the happiness. It feels better and better. So give yoga a try, and it'll just make you happy. And you must try the nitric oxide. Hold your breath, and you can get in touch with me anytime through Shalini. She knows. And the postures which are very important to do are the simple ones. And then you work it up, like the simple downward dog, the Uttanasana, simply touching your toes. As you extend your spine, you are extending your life. Take it from me. That's what happens, right? Simple postures like that. Then there are, of course, standing poses, the archer, and there are several that any yoga book will take you through. And one of the best is Sarvangasana. Try that every day, and you can only go right.
That's very interesting, Mr. Chandru. Actually, while you were talking, I was trying to do the holding my breath for 30 seconds. I think
Yeah,
next time I'll use a timer. That would be very interesting. And it's nice that you mentioned that we could do this 2-3 times a day. You mentioned this would help in understanding if you have healthy lungs.
exactly. So what it
Okay.
does, if, while you're doing it, it becomes a bronchodilator.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in your lungs while you're doing it. And so if you do 2, 3 times a day, you're virtually exercising your lungs. Can you imagine that?
Oh,
What we need now, you know? That's why breathing exercises, the pranayam, which our Dr. Ishwar mentioned in so much detail, uh, it's good to go through them. But if you don't have the time, even for that, because you have to sit down, study, go one by one. And if I resume my yoga classes, I'll definitely let you know. We used to do all these together, 10, 20, 30 hours. It's a lot of synergy when you're doing it together. And it's a lot of fun. But please do try holding your breath. It's the simplest form of breathing exercise.
all right. That was actually very exciting. And to all our viewers today, I think that's one takeaway that you can really practice from Mr. Chandru, and for you to practice to see if you have healthy lungs and to keep building your immunity as well, just through simple breathing exercises. Learn and start to hold your breath for at least 30 seconds and build up as you can. And maybe one day we can duel Mr. Chandru and do 2 minutes. I still can't imagine when, but I think that's a good challenge to keep. Mr. Chandru, as your, like, let's say, as a yoga practitioner and someone who's really made yoga a part of his lifestyle, what
Yeah.
would be, in a way, your summed up version to someone who wants to start their journey on sort of incorporating yoga into their lifestyle as well? As a parting word, what would you like to say?
Uh, the best thing is the regularity. It's though I've been doing yoga for 45 years, it's the last 8 years I realized how important it is to do every day. And since I started doing that, I've felt all the changes. It's amazing. It builds up your immunity, gives you power, gives you stamina. Whatever you want, it'll give you. But you have to do it every day. And so, even if I average 30 minutes a day, I'm happy. That's enough. You see. Then to that, I would add brisk walking and swimming. These three go hand in hand. And of course, if you have any other sport you're fond of, you can play that, no problem. But yoga is absolutely like a foundation of good health. That's a must.
That's very interesting that you mentioned that, Mr. Chandru. Actually, even throughout the discussion of Dr. Ishwar earlier, he kept mentioning that practicing yoga regularly does really help in building one's immunity. And I think in times like this, that's one of the most important things that one person can take care of for themselves and encourage the people around them as well. As we're very commonly known, like when we did the last virtual International Day of Yoga, we were actually able to do it with your family. And that was very interesting how you've actually brought everybody involved in making yoga part of their lifestyle as well. So that's for a beginner, you mentioned that regularity in doing this as often as possible is one way to really guarantee.
Sorry, I must correct you. Not as often
Yes.
as possible.
Oh,
Every day.
sorry, every day.
That's the mistake I made 45 years back. I used to do it maybe 4 times a week, 3 times, but that's the question mark. How often? Like we eat every day, right? This has to be part of your lifestyle.
All
So do
right.
it
So
every day. And I tell you, 8 years, I haven't missed a day. Whether even
Wow.
on the plane, even on the plane, the air hostesses ask me, "Sir, what are you doing?" I said, "Just a bit of yoga."
Oh, that would be interesting experience. I think maybe you can do perhaps a demo session for us next time, and that would be very interesting. How to do yoga on an airplane? I think in a few months when things open up again. Thank you again, Mr. Chandru. I think that was a beautiful takeaway. Of course, one of the things that we should do is to do it not often, but every day. Make it a
Really.
part of your lifestyle, just as eating and showering is for everybody. So, yes, yoga is a lifestyle, it's universal, and it's inclusive at the very most. So, would that sum up, Mr. Chandru? Would that be a good summary of what yoga can be for someone?
Yoga, another thing one must remember, it's a journey inwards for a better management and understanding of your body, mind, and spirit. So
Oh,
you
that's
really
nice.
have to make a journey inwards every time. Even that's why while you are doing a posture, it's good you close your eyes and enter within. You have to see what's happening within. Yeah, that's important.
Definitely. That is beautiful. And thank you so much for ending that on that note, Mr. Chandru. Again, I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of Asian Society, the Embassy of India Manila, and the Indian Cultural Association of the Philippines for joining us today for Yoga Today. On the Eyes on Asia program for the India special. So keep an eye out, everyone, for our upcoming programs as well. I'd like to invite Miss Joy back on the stage to tell us more about tomorrow's program and the rest of the activities we have upcoming. Thank you, Mr.
Yes, thank
Chandru.
you, Shalini. Thank you, Mr. Matani, for sharing with us. I'm very happy that you were still able to come in. Your tips are very important. Anyway, Shalini, you were an amazing host, and so with that, I'd like to thank ICAP as well for letting you do the hosting today. Thank you,
Our
Dr.
pleasure.
Mr. Chandru, the president of Speedo. Maybe at some point we can have you lead yoga sessions for us. And again, we'd like to thank Dr. Basavaraddi, who spoke with us earlier from the Ministry of AYUSH in the government of India, and that was made possible by our partner, the CEO of our Asia Society India Center, Miss Inakshi Sobti. So our thanks to them as well. And tomorrow, we're inviting all of you. There's more Under Eyes on India at 8 a.m. That's going to be led by the Indian Embassy in the Philippines, headed by Miss Vishwanjali. 8 a.m. session in yoga. It will surely make you happy. And lastly, I'd like also to invite you on March 25 at 6 p.m. We're going to do the cuisine route. We'll have two chefs from India, Mr. Thomas Zacharias, and from the Philippines, Mr. Angelo Comsti. And it's going to be a spicing up time with the two of them. So with that, good. Thank you again so much. Good evening. Stay healthy, stay safe, and namaste.
Thank you, Ms. Joy, and thank you, Mr. Chandru. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you.